Because, okay, like all movie briefcases, uh, because his father was a scientist, and every scientist in every movie ever made has to have a briefcase that they store in obscure places, just on the off chance that they're kidnapped or killed or vanished, and so that their next of kin or their close friends or their spiritual successors can find them and discover their equations. And of course, it's filled with all the things that Hollywood briefcases have. Just random clippings of pictures and equations and shots of the scientists standing with mysterious gentlemen. And in this case, it's Dr. Kurt Connors. Peter finds an old colleague of his father's, of course. And Peter, being the proactive young man that he is, he goes off to the labs where Kurt Connors works. And Kurt Connors, it should be mentioned, has just one arm. This is very important, actually. Kurt Connors he's basically the archetypal mad scientist. He's a good guy. He's actually a really nice guy, very morally upstanding. But he's tampering with God's domain. You can't help it. I mean, God's domain. Who else is going to tamper with it but the mad scientist? And he talks about one day I will eliminate weakness from the human species. He has a British accent. I can't do it, but you can see where this is going. No one in movies who has ever talked like that has ever turned out well. It's like I have been studying the lizard's ability to regrow limbs. If we could imprint this onto human beings, we could make a better human. Yes, there's no such thing as hubris where I come from. I'm sure that I won't be hoisted by my own petard and shown the error of my ways in a tragic manner. Well, anyway, Gwen Stacy's there. She spots Peter, who has stolen an ID badge for this class trip that he's not actually a part of, and gets some other poor kid in real trouble. And she's, are you stalking me? I mean, what other reason could you possibly have to be here other than me? I mean, it's not like you're a brilliant scientist. I'm the top of my class, of course. I'm smarter than you, of course. I don't really like Gwen Stacy in this movie. She's a little bit of a Mary Sue. She doesn't have much personality, I found, other than just being the love interest, the spunky female lead. Anyway, Peter, of course, breaks off from the group and wanders off into a room where something happens. It's a room full of spiders doing the things that genetically engineered spiders do. He gets bitten by one, goes home. Well, actually, he doesn't go home first. He's on a subway car, and just like that, he's got his spider powers. He's sleeping on a subway car. Some douchebag puts a bottle on his head, and that triggers him going off. He's like, he hops up to the ceiling. He somehow sticks to the ceiling even when he's wearing sneakers. Because it's a skin thing. We guess. Unlike in Sam Raimi's film, we don't zoom in to see that he's got little hairs on his fingers. No, we just spiders stick to things. So now he sticks to things even when he's wearing sneakers. Even his feet can stick to things. And there's another thing about this movie. He does not give a crap about his secret identity. He acts like he does, but he doesn't, because everybody sees him without his mask. Everybody. It is bleedingly obvious. There's a whole subway car full of people. The standard issue, hostile New Yorkers who start messing around with him when he can't control his powers. Like, hey, what are you doing? You're some kind of freak? What do you want to fight? You want to fight? And he takes them all out with contemptuous ease without even meaning to. Starts breaking things apart with his super strength. And, they all get a good look at him. I mean, you don't think that, a few days later when the Amazing Spider-Man appears, none of these people are going to make the connection that it's this one kid? And it's not like Andrew Garfield can get lost in a crowd. I mean, the dude's got a pretty memorable face, doesn't he? I mean, nobody else looks like Andrew Garfield except Andrew Garfield, especially with that hair of his. But no, he's hopping around. This isn't one of those deals where he could just, kick their asses and play it off like, oh, wow, I go to the gym, that's all, No, he hops up on the ceiling. Everyone sees him hanging on the ceiling. He's looking around, like, look up there. He's hanging from the ceiling like some kind of Spider-Man, if you will. I know, he kicks all their asses and then just sort of, shuffles out of the subway. Like, excuse me, I'm just going to... And then he goes home, and he confronts an Aunt May and Uncle Ben. What are you doing out late, Peter? I'm not turning into a giant spider. Lay on my back. That tossing his head thing that he does all the time. And And he goes up to his room, and he's got his spider powers, and he starts experimenting with them and playing around and breaking things in the house, which I think was a really nice moment, because now he's got to learn how to be really soft and gentle with all his movements, because he's super strong and he can break people like twigs if he wants to. Ugh. So again, this is all sort of underplayed compared to the relationship between Peter and the characters around him, which is not a bad way to go. That's a valid way to make a superhero movie. You know, it might not be to my taste entirely, but it's very important in any good movie that you give the characters depth and feeling and nuance and relationships and all that and so forth, yada 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 yada. And it eventually he's still going to school. This is problematic. The high school thing. Well, I'll get to that later. The point is, he gets to school, and now he's got superpowers. And hold on a second. See, it's a YouTube thing. I have to stop the video every now and then, or else it's a camera thing, or else the video starts lagging. So I'm new at this. Okay, I'm back. This is gonna be a really long bunch of videos. I don't care. It's my channel. I'll do what I want with it. Anyway, so he goes to school, and he's got superpowers now, and he just doesn't really make a big deal out of it or anything until he's in the gym, just hanging out, and Flash is being a dick to some other poor downtrodden nerdling, and Peter, he decides to be the super nerd and stand up for them, so like, hey, what's coming to me? Huh? What's coming to me? We'll solve this right now. Yeah. So he catches the ball in his hand, and Flash Tom's like, give me the ball, Parker. Give me the ball. Give me the ball, Parker. And Parker's like, take it from me. And of course, then he goes into this bit where he totally humiliates Flash by just playing keep away with the ball, and that's all he really does, really. And then he pushes past Flash, and which I guess would mildly hurt Flash, and he jumps up into the air again to superhuman degree, and no one will ever make a connection between him and Spider-Man, of course. But anyway, and he shatters the baseboard and tears the hoop off, and he's like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And he is in trouble. He gets in big trouble for this, for all of this. And you'd think that the school would blame the construction of the net if an accident like that happened during practice. But no, Peter gets blamed for breaking it. Not only that, he gets blamed for humiliating Flash. Yeah, that's right. He gets blamed for humiliating Flash Thompson. His Uncle Ben comes to pick him up at school, after he's been given a talking to at the principal's office. He brings him out, and Uncle Ben's like, so what was that about? And, is it true that you humiliated that boy? Well, yeah, I guess so. So is this the boy who punched you? Yeah, I guess so. So, is this the man I raised, thirsty for vengeance? Huh, huh, huh. We do not play basketball in this family, young man. No. If a man punches you, and then punches you again, and then throws you to the floor, and kicks you in the gut, you take it, because that's the honorable thing to do. Seriously, Uncle Ben, this guy assaulted your adoptive son. He railed on him, and what exactly was Peter supposed to do? Really? Are you offering any alternatives, Uncle Ben? Huh? Are you supposed to be sympathetic? Because all Peter did was play a game of basketball against him, briefly. And no. Apparently that humiliates Flash Thompson, because I guess it's okay if Peter gets humiliated, because he was built for it. It's the way of his people. They breathe humiliation. But no. If someone plays basketball, against one of the Ubermensches that the school supports, and Uncle Ben, he hasn't got a shred of sympathy. No, he's really down on Peter for once in his life. After presumably being picked on and apparently physically abused by these people for years, for once in his life, he does something which mildly off-puts the bullies. This Peter is shamed for. It's like, no. To the corner, Peter. No more basketball playing for you ever. That's for the physically fit people, not for weaklings like us. You must know your place in this world. Oh, yeah. Peter doesn't speak up for himself much, All he says is, yes, this was the guy who hit me, okay? Says, your Aunt May would be so ashamed. Peter goes off and experiments with his powers, and he forgets to pick up Aunt May from someplace, and then he comes home, and Uncle Ben's like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God! I'm so angry. I'm so angry with you right now, Peter. Oh, I can't believe you do this. Oh, how could you?" Oh, and Peter's like, "Well, you want to talk to me about responsibility? How about my parents leaving me alone when I was a kid? What was about that? They get off in a plane crash. I never learned word one, and you never told me what they went off to do. I never learned what they went off to do. It'd be nice to know. So yeah, I'm going through a hard time right now. Get on my back. Oh, how dare you? How dare you?" And again, this is a really good scene. You really feel Peter Parker's angst, and it's perfectly understandable. You don't feel like he's being unreasonable about any of this. And I'm mocking Martin Sheen as Uncle Ben a bit, but he's a competent Uncle Ben. So this is how, we start rambling into Peter's destiny unfolding. So Peter goes to a convenience store just to blow off steam because his Uncle Ben's been busting his balls for no reason at all. Okay, I guess if he forgot to pick up his Aunt May, but seriously, he's supposed to be a pretty good kid, all things considered. You'd think they'd earn him a little bit of slack, but no. And Uncle Ben's like, he's a little apologetic. "Okay, Peter, where are you? Oh, maybe you could play basketball every once in a while, just so long as you stay away from the tough people." And then, of course, Peter's in the convenience store, and and the guy at the convenience store is being a real asshole for some reason, no real reason. He's just like, no, you can't pay with 1 penny, you have to pay with 2 pennies, or something like that. And the guy, there's this guy, he robs the convenience store while the other guy's back is turned, and he runs off, and Peter doesn't do anything. And just like in the sam Raimi movie, he repeats a line, he throws a line that the shopkeeper gave him back into his face. "That's not my policy." And the gunman runs off and bumps into Uncle Ben, who's coming after Peter, and Uncle Ben sees that there's a gun. And of course, now in real life, could anyone blame someone for backing off from some guy with a gun? Really? Well, no. Uncle Ben does the brave thing, gets himself killed. Yeah. And Peter Parker, he comes up, he sees what's happened, and it's awful. Andrew Garfield is a great actor. He really sells this part. You really feel the pathos. This poor kid being torn apart. His Uncle Ben lying bloody in the street. I think this was done well in the first Spider-Man movie too, though. Tobey Maguire was also very believable in that scene, and it was nice when we didn't actually see Uncle Ben get shot. I thought that was, but again, I'm nitpicking. Some things better, some things worse. Point is, Peter, he doesn't go right after the gunman in this case. Oh, hold on.